The sun hadn't yet risen over the town of Dustwater, but already the streets were thick with whispers. Every porch, every tavern, every rusted tin roof carried the same rumor. They're hanging the girl today. Her name was Clara Mayfield, barely 18, and no one in Dustwater could remember when she'd last smiled. Her father had died in a mining collapse. Her mother followed from sickness to winters later. Alone, poor, and pure as a dove, she cleaned floors at the Silver Spur Saloon for a few coins a week. But fate, cruel and sharp as a rattlesnake's tooth, had cornered her in a nightmare she never deserved. They said she'd murdered Sheriff Briggs, the same man who used to stop her on the street just to ask if she was behaving proper when he turned up dead, with her handkerchief in his coat. The judge never asked for evidence. Dustwater didn't need truth. It needed a spectacle. At dawn, they brought her out. Her wrists were tied with coarse rope, her hair tangled with straw from the jail cell. She walked barefoot across the wooden planks of the gallows, her small frame trembling under the gray morning light. The crowd gathered, their faces painted with a strange mix of pity and curiosity. A cold wind drifted through the town, whistling between the shutters. Somewhere, a dog barked. Somewhere else, a bottle shattered. The judge, a heavy man with a red nose and eyes like dull stones, cleared his throat and read from a crumpled piece of paper. Clara Mayfield, you stand convicted of the murder of Sheriff Briggs. The law finds no mercy for killers. May God take your soul. The hangman adjusted the noose, his fingers rough and uncaring. Clara whispered, her voice soft as ash, I didn't do it, sir. I swear it before God. But no one listened. From the edge of the crowd, the sound of spurs clinking broke through the silence. Heads turned. A man stumbled out of the saloon, tall, broad-shouldered, wrapped in a dusty duster coat that had seen too many gunfights. His head hung low over his face, and a whiskey bottle dangled from his hand. Hold up a minute, he slurred, weaving slightly as he walked. You folks starting the fun without me? Laughter rippled through the crowd. The drunk was Cole Tanner, a wandering cowboy with a bad reputation and worse luck. He'd drifted into Dustwater the night before, spent his last coin on whiskey, and passed out at the bar. The judge scowled. Get this man out of here, he barked. We're conducting lawful business. Cole ignored him. He staggered closer to the gallows, squinting at Clara. Lawful business, huh? He muttered. That girl looks more like a lamb than a wolf. What's she supposed to have done? She killed our sheriff, someone shouted. Cole blinked, then laughed dryly. That old snake Briggs, I met him once in Abilene. Tried to cheat me at poker and pulled a gun when he lost. Don't sound like the kind of man heaven's missing much. The crowd murmured uneasily. The judge slammed his gavel on a wooden post. Mister, you're drunk. This is none of your concern. Cole took another swig of whiskey, wiped his mouth, and said, Reckon I'll decide what's my concern. He climbed the gallows steps, swaying slightly, but his voice hardened as he faced the judge. You got any proof this girl done it? Any witnesses saw her pull the trigger? The judge's face reddened. Her handkerchief was found on the body. Cole chuckled. A handkerchief? Hell, Judge, I've got half a dozen of those from girls all over Texas. That don't make me a killer. The crowd laughed nervously again. The judge growled, You're interfering with justice. Justice? Cole spat the word like it was poison. This ain't justice. It's a damn circus. He turned to Clara, his eyes softening. What's your story, miss? Her lips trembled. I didn't kill him. He came to the saloon after dark. He was drunk, and he tried to force me. I fought him off. He hit his head on the stove. I ran for help, but by the time I got back, he was gone, and they said I'd done it. Cole's jaw tightened. The crowd fell silent. Even the hangman shifted his weight uneasily. The judge waved a dismissive hand. A likely tale from a guilty girl. This town don't need your sob stories, cowboy. Step aside. Cole smiled then, slow, dangerous, the kind of smile that always came before trouble. Step aside. You don't know me very well, Your Honor. He dropped the whiskey bottle. It shattered on the boards, the smell of alcohol rising like fire in the air. Then, with one smooth motion, he drew his revolver and cocked it. Anybody moves that lever, he said, voice steady now, and I'll paint this platform red. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The hangman froze, the judge stumbled back, and Clara's eyes went wide. Cole Tanner, someone hissed. You'll hang for this. Maybe, Cole said, eyes on the judge, but not today. Not while a girl's swinging for something she didn't do. The sheriff's deputy raised his rifle. Cole fired first. The shot cracked like thunder, blowing the deputy's hat clean off and sending him tumbling backward. The crowd scattered in panic. "Judge," Cole said calmly, "you're gonna give this girl a retrial. In front of the whole damn town. And I'll be there to make sure it's fair." The judge trembled. You can't threaten the law." "I ain't threatening it," Cole said, holstering his gun. "I'm reminding it what it's supposed to be." He cut the rope from Clara's wrists with his knife. She stared at him, dazed and afraid. "Why are you helping me?" Cole glanced toward the sunrise now creeping over the hills. "'Cause I've done a lot of wrong in my time," he said quietly. "Maybe Savin you'll count for something when my day comes." Then he turned to the crowd. "Anyone here think she don't deserve a fair chance?" Silence. No one met his eyes. He tipped his hat to the judge. "Good. Then I reckon the trial starts tomorrow. You got till then to find something that ain't a handkerchief." Cole helped Clara down the steps and guided her toward the edge of town. The crowd watched them go. The poor virgin girl and the drunken cowboy who just dared the law itself. As they disappeared down the dirt road, the wind carried the last echo of Cole's words. Justice ain't about who's got the rope. It's about who's got the guts to stop it. By the time the sun rose over Dustwater the next morning, the town had changed. People whispered in the saloon, in the general store, and along the boardwalks, whispering the name of the man who'd drawn a gun on the judge to save a girl. Nobody cared for yesterday. Cole Tanner. Some said he was a fool. Some said he was a hero. But everyone agreed. Dustwater hadn't seen a man like him in years. Cole sat on the porch of the abandoned blacksmith shop, nursing a cup of black coffee. He hadn't touched whiskey since dawn. His hat shaded his eyes, but his mind was awake, restless. Across from him, Clara Mayfield sat quietly, her hands folded in her lap. The bruises on her wrists from the rope were still visible, faint rings of injustice. She watched the townsfolk pass by, some nodding, some glaring, none daring to speak. "Why'd you stay?" she finally asked. "You could have ridden off. They'd never catch you." Cole smiled faintly. "Could've," he said. "But I gave that judge my word, and I aim to see this through. You deserve a chance, Clara. Everyone does, least once." She lowered her eyes. "You believe me, don't you?" He looked at her then, really looked. "Darlin', I've stared down men who could lie with a smile and die with a grin. You ain't one of 'em." At noon, the church bell rang. 3 long tolls. The judge had called for a public retrial at the old courthouse, just as Cole demanded. The whole town packed inside, from the barkeep to the blacksmith's widow. The air was hot and thick with gossip. The judge sat red-faced behind his desk, trying to reclaim his dignity. His voice boomed. "This proceeding is most irregular, but since certain parties saw fit to challenge the authority of the court." Cole leaned against the wall, arms folded, a smirk on his face. "Just get to the truth part, Judge. That's the one I'm interested in." The judge glared but continued. "Clara Mayfield, you stand accused of the murder of Sheriff Briggs. The court shall hear testimony anew." The first witness was Tom Haskins, the saloon owner, a thin man with greedy eyes. He avoided Clara's gaze as he spoke. "She was there that night, cleaning. Sheriff Briggs came in late, wanted a drink. They argued. Then she ran out screaming. I found Briggs dead minutes later." "Any witnesses?" Cole asked from the back. Haskins shifted. "No, but she left her handkerchief behind." Cole stepped forward. "You mean this handkerchief?" He pulled one from his coat pocket. "Identical to Clara's. Bought a pack of 5 from your own storekeeper yesterday. Seems they're not so rare, huh?" The crowd murmured. The judge frowned. "Order." Cole's tone hardened. "You got more than a rag, Haskins? 'Cause I've got a feelin' you know more than you're tellin'." Haskins' face paled. I told you what I saw." Cole leaned close, his voice low and dangerous. "Funny thing, though. Briggs kept his pay locked in a tin box under the saloon bar. When he died, that box was gone. Who had the key?" The saloon keeper stammered. "I don't know." "Try again," Cole said, eyes cold. "You or Briggs, and Briggs was dead." The crowd gasped. The judge slammed his gavel. "That's enough." But the seed was planted. Everyone in Dustwater was starting to wonder. Maybe the girl wasn't the monster after all. Later that day, while the judge recessed for deliberation, Cole walked outside to cool his head. Clara followed. The sky was turning blood red with sunset. "You think they'll believe you?" she asked softly. "Don't matter if they believe me," Cole said, staring toward the horizon. "Matters if we find the truth before they hang you again." He tossed his coffee tin aside and lit a cigarette. "I've been thinking," he said, blowing smoke. Briggs had enemies, men he crossed, cards he rigged, debts unpaid. Somebody killed him to settle a score and used you as cover. Clara frowned. "But who?" Cole's eyes narrowed. "Let's go find out." That night, Dustwater slept uneasy. Cole and Clara crept through the back door of the Silver Spur Saloon. The place was dark, empty except for the moonlight slashing through the shutters. Cole moved behind the bar, prying open the floorboards with his knife. Beneath the wood, a tin strongbox, half buried in dust. He opened it. Inside was a stack of bills, a silver badge, and a letter. Cole unfolded the paper, reading aloud in a low voice. "Haskins, our deal stands. I'll make sure Briggs don't come sniffing round your smuggling. You keep your mouth shut and your doors open. Judge Barrett." Cole froze. "Judge Barrett," he muttered. "Well, I'll be damned." Clara covered her mouth. "The judge, but he's the one." "Who convicted you?" Cole finished grimly. "Yeah, figures. The man who shouts justice. The loudest's usually the one who's got his boots in the mud." They turned to leave, but the saloon door creaked open. Standing there was the judge, revolver in hand, face twisted with fury. "Thought you could outsmart me, Tanner?" he snarled. "You and that little harlot?" Cole's hand hovered near his holster. "You killed Briggs, didn't you? 'Cause he found out about your smuggling with Haskins." The judge sneered. "He got greedy. I fixed it. Like I'll fix you." The gunshot exploded. Clara screamed. Cole dove sideways, the bullet grazing his arm. He rolled behind a table, returned fire, splintering wood and shattering bottles. The judge fired again, missing by inches. Cole ducked, reloaded, then whispered, "Stay down, Clara." Another shot. The judge advanced, eyes wild. Cole waited, one heartbeat, two, then stood, steady and calm, and fired once. The judge's gun dropped. He staggered backward, clutching his chest, the look of a man finally facing the justice he'd denied others. He fell, the floorboards creaking under his weight. Silence filled the saloon. By dawn, the town gathered once more, not for a hanging, but a reckoning. The deputy, trembling, read the letter aloud before the crowd. When he finished, every eye turned toward Clara Mayfield. "She's innocent," he said softly, "and the real killer's dead." The townsfolk murmured. Then, slowly, one by one, they removed their hats, out of shame, out of respect, maybe both. Cole stood beside Clara as the morning light spread over Dustwater. "You're free now," he said. She looked up at him, eyes glistening. "What'll you do?" He smiled faintly. "I'll ride. Always do. There's always another town, another fight that ain't fair." She stepped closer, voice trembling. "Will you come back?" He hesitated, then tipped his hat, that same dangerous, lonely smile on his lips. "Maybe, if the whiskey's good." He swung onto his horse, the wind tugging at his coat. Clara watched as he rode away, dust swirling behind him, fading into the desert light. And as his silhouette disappeared over the ridge, the voice of the town preacher echoed in the wind. "Sometimes God sends angels. Sometimes He sends cowboys."